HC. But if you are a non-Greek organization, you need to make sure you have a roster turned in with a first, last name, and email of every member in your organization so that we can pull grades. So I know I've probably spoken about it before, but basically the way we figure out which organizations get to choose rows in what order is based on GPA. So actually, groups with smaller numbers with great GPAs might have a better chance of getting better seats in the block than larger organizations. So the block is not favoring huge organizations. So I encourage all organizations to apply, but just help spread the word within your different groups that you affect through this body and through whatever other organizations you find yourself in throughout the next couple of weeks, months, years. Encourage them to join the block. And I think that's all I have. Awesome.
Moving into reports of colleges, beginning with at-large.
Jobs at large. We just want to thank you all for spreading the word on the Bama food drive. That was really helpful. And then another thing we're looking into right now is Scantron machines on campus. So if y'all see anywhere on campus that you think is it would be really helpful to have a Scantron machine there, please let me know. I've been talking to some people about maybe one in the student center, possibly Parker, but please just feedback on that would be great. Thanks.
Business.
Business. I just want to thank you for all of your support last week with both of our initiatives. An update on Mr. Long speaking on Friday and the OBCD. That was awesome, and we really enjoyed that. And he offered a really cool outlook on just what it means to be in business, but also just looking at integrity from the business standpoint and how much more it means. So I hope that some of your constituents were able to come out, but we had a great turnout, and shout out to the Business Council and William Kelly, our business president. He did a really great job.
Patsy.
Hello, Patsy. So this Friday is going to be the annual AIAS pumpkin carts, an all-day event in the Dudley Courtyard. So everyone should head out over there because it should be really fun. Also, next week is the Study Abroad Fair. I was told to tell everyone that it's going to be next Wednesday if anyone's interested in studying abroad. And also, my Catsy's school's council met last Tuesday. All of them met, all of the people that represented the programs, and they had a very good meeting. So thank you.
Thursday.
Osmond COSAM. We had Meet the Deans last week, and it was a huge success, super fun. We're looking forward to doing that again next year. And then we had the COSAM family dinner tonight, where we focused on collaboration and communication, and we're also looking forward to finishing that series next month.
Education team. Boys Stream Life Sciences.
No report.
That's good.
Center Graduate School. Well, next week the Graduate Student Senate is going to be meeting, just regular meeting on Wednesday at 7. So if there's anything that you want me to tell the general graduate student body about that's been going on in SGA, I know I'm always trying to report what's going on to them. Please let me know by a week from this Wednesday. So Graduate Senate meeting is on the 31st. Also, this past Wednesday, the Graduate Student Council, together with the Graduate School, hosted 3-minute thesis. This actually took all day. It was more than I expected. I think we had a few more competitors than last year. It was really good events. A decent number of people turned out. I really enjoyed myself. It was great to see some of the research that my constituents are doing. And if you have the time, please mark your calendars for November 15th at 3 p.m. I'm not sure of the room yet, but that is going to be when the finals for 3-minute thesis are. It's a really good experience just to see the research that some of our constituents are doing from all across the university. It only takes about an hour. Again, we're just watching about a dozen presentations of 3 minutes each, plus a little introduction from the dean. So I really encourage you to turn out to the 3-minute thesis on finals. It's November 15th. I'll mention it again, but just so you have that on your calendar so you can show up. And there you will actually have the opportunity to vote for the People's Choice Awards. So you can influence who is going to be winning one of those awards there. So if it's not fun enough, give that to
Haynes Engineering. Tomorrow we have our town hall meeting in the McCartney Suite. It's from 11 to 12, so let all your friends know that.
Liberal Arts.
Davis, Liberal Arts. So the College of Liberal Arts just finalized our Career Peer Council, and so what that is that's student representatives from some of our major students have been submitted by faculty to be on this council to better relate our students to our career initiatives that we have that we're starting up within the college. So we're getting on board with that, getting our speaker series set for next semester, as well as our career treks. We have a career trek tomorrow going to Birmingham. So if you know of anyone in the College of Liberal Arts, send them my way, and I would love to be able to connect them with our career services for getting started.
Nursing.
No report.
Pharmacy. Moving into committees, beginning with the executive.
Calhoun, business. Okay, first thing, exec meetings are Tuesdays at 5, as I mentioned every week. But nobody comes. I really enjoyed everybody. We've had very low attendance to that, so please, I prefer everybody not come the last 2 weeks like every other time. Next thing, office hours. So the binder, the involvement suite, I'm going to be checking them after Senate. So if you forgot to do them this past week, which I saw a lot of you did, so please go up there and fill out the rest of the binder and fill out the Google form that I sent last week. Also, I have a very serious business to address to the Senate body. Next week is Halloween Senate. So that being said, we have decided to do it by college. So do not freak out if you're a CATC, human sciences, forestry, nurse. Okay, it's going to be okay, I promise. And so if you are in that position, you have two options. A, you can form your own group with people who are also in the only representative from their college, or you can join another group. You have two. You have the most leeway out of anybody, so that's kind of cool. You have two options to decide, but we will take this very seriously next week, so make sure everybody dresses up. That's all.
Academic affairs.
So our cabinet counterparts came to our meeting before Senate today and kind of updated us on what they've been doing, and they've been doing a lot of good stuff. So number one, I hate to say the semester's flying by, guys, so finals will be here before you know it. So we're going to need everybody's help signing up for Up All Night and Priority 1, which is kind of like an expansion of our Up All Night to get the daytime counterpart to that. But I'll get more details on that close to the time. So help out, it's a lot of fun. Donuts and orange juice. I think most of y'all know the drill. Also, most of the academic affairs cabinets reached out to a lot of professors about the syllabus bank, and unfortunately, some of the response rates have been pretty low. So me and some other members of my committee are going to try to reach out to the different colleges, try to and then try to figure out a plan for when you guys meet with your dean or people in your dean's office, kind of how to encourage your own professors to uplift the syllabus thing, because it's a really good resource for students. A couple more things. No, I lied. No, that's all I got. So if you have any questions, come find me.
Budget finance.
Committee engineering. So the budget finance committee's been working with the different SAPs, talking about what it means to be an SAP to them. So each of the members have met with their representatives or their advisors and treasurers this week to kind of talk about what is unique about their SAP and what makes them an SAP. And then carryover hearings are this Wednesday at 6, and then the flying something. So in the conference room for flying something.
Code of laws.
Zinner, graduate school. So if anybody is interested, the Code of Laws Committee meets Tuesday morning, so that's tomorrow morning, 9:30 to 10:30 up in the involvement suite. A pretty small committee, but I say that both because I love when other people show up and talk about the code that are not on my committee. Also, as Senator Lee just mentioned, we are discussing SAPs. I recently had a meeting with his committee. We went pretty good amount of depth. I saw a lot of the feedback. It's really helpful while I write this bill to entirely rewrite Title 14. It's a really big project, but we could really use as much feedback as possible on this. So if anybody has any feedback, that's going to be one of the big things my committee is talking about tomorrow. So you are all encouraged to come to that tomorrow, as any other day, just to talk about the code. That's what we're all about. You may be sad to hear that there's no code education today, but there should be some next week, and I believe it's my turn. So we look forward to that. Me apparently in a Halloween costume. I'm taking it seriously, Daniel. Don't you worry about that. Giving a presentation on the code. So you get that to look forward to. We're also continuing to work on the code. The other members of my committee are working on rewriting Title II, which is the executive branch. We're still working on apportionment. That is something we're very much on top of. I'm looking forward to hearing an update on that tomorrow, but it's something we know about. So if you've been wondering what are the numbers of Senate for the next term, they are coming, and my committee is on top of it. So that's all for today.
Huntley Human Sciences. So we talked about this last week, but the wheelchair basketball tournament is this weekend. If you need a reminder about those days and times, it's going to be Saturday at 1 and then at 7, and then on Sunday, 1 at 10 a.m. and 1 at 6 p.m. So if you have some time, grab some friends, go out and support our wheelchair basketball team. I think they're pretty incredible, and I'm so excited to get to watch them on Saturday night, and that is for your students. Also, I've kind of talked about Fall Feast last week, I believe. So I just wanted to be an event that is hosted by SGA as well as International Student Organization to provide a Thanksgiving lunch for international students who can't go home over the Thanksgiving break. So that's going to be Tuesday, November 20th from 12 to 1 in the Student Center Ballroom. So if you haven't already, the RSVP is available on AU Involved. So if you want to RSVP, if you plan to be in attendance, so that we can kind of plan for those numbers. I did that earlier today, so please go on and do so. Also, a cool thing the library is doing, on the first floor of RBD, they're doing an LGBT resources display. So they started on National Coming Out Day on October 11th, and they're going to be running that throughout the month of October. So you have some time, go by, check it out. It's on the first floor of RBD, and go give some of those things a read. Next week's meeting, if any of you are planning on coming by IMD next week, we won't be having it on Monday. We'll actually be rescheduling for next Wednesday from 4 to 5. The location of that is TBD, but I guess like we'll notify y'all. And then tonight I will be making an amendment on the first bill that's coming through with some changes on the inclusion and diversity section, just some things that I want to see continued on past my time as chair. So those will come up when we discuss the bill. But we also have a really cool special guest. So I kind of told y'all about this like months and months and months ago. But had a meeting with Jane Hammer, who is our general counsel here at the university, to discuss like some different employment practices and like our different university policies. So she's actually here tonight to talk about reaching out to administrators and what that looks like for us as student leaders. So I now yield my time to Ms. Hammer.
War Eagle. War Eagle. Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you so much to Ada Ruth for inviting me. You all do incredible work. You're an incredible group. I've already been entertained just listening to you all talk. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. So, again, my name is Jamie Hammer. I am the university's general counsel. I stepped into this role in January of this year, so I've been here for almost 10 months now. So it's been fantastic. Before I was here, I was at the University of Oklahoma practicing law for about a little over 10 years. Before that, I was in private practice in Dallas and San Diego. Before that, I was in law school. I went to law school at Duke University in North Carolina, and I did my undergraduate work at the University of Oklahoma. So I did get to work at my alma mater for about 10 years. And as you think ahead to what you want to do in your life, if you ever get the chance to work where you went to school, even just for a little while, I highly encourage it. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so when Ada Ruth and I met about some things that were important to the work you all are doing here, we talked a little more broadly about just the university administration and ways that maybe students and administrators can interact and ways that we can better serve you all. And so as we started talking about that, I thought, it might be kind of fun to come just chat with you guys and give you some insight into what we do. So my office, the Office of the General Counsel, we provide legal representation to Auburn University. That looks like a lot of different things. So we represent the university or hire outside counsel to represent the university if the university is involved in a lawsuit. That's a really small part of what we do. We provide counsel to the Board of Trustees and all university administration on everything ranging from university policies and procedures to construction contracts to athletics contracts, employment policies, anything you can think of where someone might need some legal advice in running a university comes through our office. And so as a result, we see a very wide variety of projects and problems. I was listening to Dane talk, and I was super excited to hear in his presentation, he addressed policy review and application, policy interpretation, due
process conflicts of interest and appearances of impropriety. And that's like a Tuesday in my office. So, Dave, if you need a job, I've got a stack about this tall. No, but we really do, I think all the attorneys in my office really love what we do. Which brings me to part of why I wanted to touch base with you all. You guys probably have all kinds of professional interests and ideas about what you want to do when you, graduate from Auburn. And I would encourage you to think critically about some of the administrators on campus and whether there are folks who are right here at Auburn who do the kinds of things you want to do. Maybe you don't think you want to work at a university someday, but you're interested in finance. We have a CFO. Maybe you don't think that you want to work at a university, but you're interested in being a lawyer. I know some lawyers. There are a lot of people who are doing lots of different kinds of careers here at the university. And, we all could have gone and practiced law or practiced finance or accounting anywhere. And we chose to do it in higher education because we care a lot about developing that next generation and speaking into the interests and the careers that you all and the ideas that you all have for when you go out into the world. So as Ada Ruth did, and as I have had the opportunity to meet with several other students on campus since I've been here, I would encourage you just to find people on campus, administrators on campus who may have done the things that you're thinking about doing and schedule some time to visit with them. It may take a while to get on the calendar, but it's probably worth it to spend 15 or 20 or 30 minutes just talking to somebody who has done the things that you might be interested in doing. I wasn't always in higher education. I was in private practice, and I did white-collar crime and big commercial litigation and all of that stuff. So take advantage of the time that you're here and the people who are here who are interested in you and interested in giving you some, maybe a little bit of a window into what the career paths look like. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it. Just really wanted to introduce myself and take this time to connect with you guys. Questions? Any questions? Okay.
Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you all. One more thing. So it's been long anticipated. We are actually going to get that survey from the Research and Assessment about cultural competency on campus. Should have that by Wednesday. So I'll be spreading that out for you to share amongst your constituents. It's going to be really important that we get that student feedback in order to make that happen. So I just want to update you all on that.
Student case.
Jeter at large. Yeah, so a lot of great discussion on that ATI resolution. Y'all should be seeing those updates shortly. Also, there's a facilities meeting on Thursday, and we're working on compiling just a big master list of any kind of facilities ideas or projects. So if y'all have any ideas or anything you thought of, please shoot it our way.
Moving into reports of special committees and liaisons, beginning with ESC.
I just want to thank everyone who did come out and shoot photos last week. I saw some faces, and you guys really did help us get
Student veterans.
So I got a couple things. First off, we got Student Veteran Week coming up, so 5th through the 9th. That's going to be a lot of events going on. So clock tower service songs every day at noon, I think like that, around the hour, something like that. It's going to be playing one of the service songs for that day. And got the Purple Heart ceremony. There's an unveiling of a new parking spot for Purple Heart veterans. It's people who've been wounded in action. And then the biggest thing is we have an Iron Bowl March. So it's going to be a new thing that's coming on that we're going to do every year annually. And that was repetitive. Anyways. So every year we're going to get together with Alabama veterans and we're going to march the ball with the Iron Bowl to the other stadium. So this year we're starting in Jordan Hare, obviously. We're going to walk 150 miles to Alabama Stadium. And it's to raise support for the 22 veterans that they commit suicide. So it's kind of a somber yet thing to be celebrated. So just, get it out there. Thanks.
Thank you. Honors Congress.
No.
Housing.
No report.
And we do have some long-awaited new faces in the room. Do you want to introduce our freshman senators and give them a chance to introduce themselves? They'll be joining you in your committees hopefully within the next week, but we're just excited to have them with us.
Hey guys, my name is Bowman Hill. I'm from Birmingham,
excited and grateful to be with y'all.
My name is Michael Thomas. I'm from Auburn, Alabama, and I'm in school business.
My name is Ashley Patterson. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm biomedical sciences.
Hey, I'm Mary Kate Saville. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama also, and I'm a chemical engineering major.
Thanks for being here. Y'all be sure to go introduce yourselves to them and make them feel welcome during their time here. Seeing no more reports, we'll go ahead and move into current orders of business, and I will call the first bill.
ESSB 18102201, Legislative Branch, Chapter 303.
This bill is brought to you by Senator Bailey and Senator Zinn.
Center Graduate School. So this is a bill that's a pretty extensive rewrite of Chapter 303 of the Code of Laws, which goes into the Student Senate standing committees. As we talked about last week, one of the biggest changes is my committee, the Code of Laws Committee, in theory, up until now, is supposed to look at just about everything. That's a lot for one committee. We have our areas which we really should be focused on, such as organization and clearing things up. There's some resolutions about student affairs we'd like to see, but that's really not our jurisdiction. So we want to open that up a little bit more to allow everybody their stab at amending the code, their stab at to propose some bills. So Senator Bailey and I worked together on writing this amendment to Chapter 303. So I moved past this bill as written.
Senator
Huntley, Human Sciences. So kind of like Senator Zinner, wanted to make some changes to this particular piece of legislation to keep some things that we have implemented in my committee this year. We made quite a few changes from the way this committee's been run in the past. So I actually have some amendments to this bill, and here's some as well. But basically, that's just entailing some things that we want to keep for this committee in the future. The way that we kind of came to this general consensus, so I actually released a survey to my entire committee to discuss some things that we've liked about this year, things we haven't liked about this year, how I've done in my role as chair, and then from there came up with those 3 different sections. So we'll just pull those up. Yeah, that's all the way at the bottom. Yeah, so that's going to be point 6, point 7, and point 8. So basically entailing working with campus relations. So I think that's a really cool counterpart that we have in cabinet and we haven't taken advantage of as much in the past. To create and present the presentation. So the inclusion and diversity-based presentations that we've done on the floor this year, that's something that my committee really wanted to keep. And as well as breaking up into subcommittees. So I don't know if y'all are aware of this, but my committee is broken up into 3 subcommittees to basically target underserved populations here at Auburn University. And we've seen that as very effective. So with that, I moved to make this amendment.
Is there any discussion on this amendment?
Madam President.
Senator Zinn.
Center Graduate School, I really appreciate taking the time to look at this and adding some of the things from the committee. I very much like these amendments. I would propose one change, or one concern rather I would mention, is specifically on the 303.9.1.6, which mentions campus relations within Student Government Association. And this is a bit of an issue that occurs in a number of parts of the code, and something that I'm hoping to address as the year goes on. But currently, Title II is very, very weak in mentioning the different roles of SGA. The only SGA officers really discussed are exec. And there's a couple points where they mentioned an officer, but their duties are never mentioned, so it creates some confusion. And I'm just curious if that's something you considered, because again, I'm sure my committee is happy to talk about explaining that when we talk about Title II tomorrow, but I just want to bring that to everybody's attention.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So with that, can I make an amendment to say to work with the appropriate counterparts within student government association? And strike
not, name it specifically. I think that this would be a great thing for all of the Senate to look into, just because that is a great platform for us to use our voices. And so I think that's a great suggestion.
Is there any further discussion on this amendment?
Osmond Co-Sam. If you scroll up a little bit, there's like not a space between those and the policies. I don't know exactly what number it is, but
Yeah.
there's space there.
Are there any objections to this clerical correction? Awesome, thank you for catching that. Moving back to the amendment at hand, is there any further discussion on the amendments? Senator Jones.
Should it say within the Student Government Association?
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of this amendment, please say aye and click A. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted. We'll now move back to discussion on the bill as a whole. Is there any further discussion or debate on this bill? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of passing this bill, please say aye and click A. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it, this bill is adopted.
PSSB 18102202, Title 15, Sunshine Law.
This bill is brought to you by Senator Zinner.
Zinner, Graduate School. This is the rewrite of Sunshine Law that I discussed last week. Most of it is just organization, making this a little bit more coherent, removing redundant language, things like that. I did not receive any questions throughout the week. I'd be happy to discuss further though, but if there's no discussion, I move to pass this bill as written.
It's moved and seconded to adopt the bill as read. Is there any debate or discussion on this bill? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye and click A.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it, and this bill is adopted. Seeing as there's no more current orders of business, we will move into future orders, and Maggie will call the first bill.
PSSB 18102901, Elections Calendar.
This bill is brought to you by Senator Calhoun.
Calhoun business. So this piece of legislation is just the elections calendar for the upcoming year. E-Council spent a lot of time coming up with the dates. If you have any questions over the next the upcoming week, please refer them to me or to Bree. We're discussing.
PSSB 18102902, Election Law, Chapter 708.1.
This bill is brought to you by Senator Ward.
Okay, so this bill is just going over kind of the expectations for major and minor candidates, and the only things that were changed in these was reorganization, because it was all kind of spread out and didn't really clarify, and we just made sure that was very explicit in what it was saying. So if there are any questions, just let me know.
PSSB 18102903, Election Law, Chapter 708.3.
This bill is brought to you by Senator Zinner.
Zinner, Graduate School. So this is, again, continuing on that bill that Hope proposed, a more clarification of the campaign schedule. This time, this is 708.3, looking at preliminary campaigning. Again, as you can see, clarifying all candidates. Moving things around, one of the big things that I wanted to do in this is expand when you can do organization visits, and as is also addressed in Senator Ward's bill, expanding when you can discuss platforms. And one of the main reasons for this is we have call night when you can already start calling people, hey, you want to be on my campaign staff? Well, if I want to be on somebody's campaign staff, I kind of want to know what the candidate stands for, but as it stands right now, you can't really discuss platforms, you can't share the platforms. This is, if we want elections to be about platforms, which is something we've tried to talk about in the past, one of the very first bills we passed was expanding the platform word limits, and clearly that's something we should care about as Senate. We should be electing people based on what they stand for, what policies do they want to do, how do they want to serve the student body. So allowing people to talk about platforms earlier is definitely something we should be thinking about that goes along with Senator Ward's bill. And also organization visits. As it stands right now, you can only do organization visits for that one little week of formal campaigning. That creates a huge rush to get to a bunch of different organizations. Well, for one, student orgs are going to get a little swamped with requests just for that week. Not every organization meets during campaign week. And also, candidates are a little limited in where they can go, so that they're going to try to go, okay, no, we don't want to do candidates this week, we want to do it this week. If they only meet bi-weekly or even monthly, there's a better chance that you're getting it into a time when they are meeting. And again, the other parts of the Code of Laws already limits organization visits to organizations where the president of that group consents. So just because we're increasing the time when you can go to an organization, you're not really bothering any students that aren't consenting to it. They elected the leader that is going to be deciding whether or not you can come speak to them. So if they take issue with, oh, there's too many candidates, that's on their organization leadership. If they don't want it, they don't have to allow it. So this is really just making elections more accessible, helping lesser known candidates get their name out there, and in addition to general cleanup of the preliminary campaigning. So I look forward to discussing this in further detail next week.
PSSE 18102904, Election Law, Chapter 708.4.
This is going along with these other bills about the campaign schedule. This is talking about the definition of formal campaigning. The first tiny little change is changing the designated website to the internet. There's other parts that talk about mass media policy. I find that a little redundant and just so opening, making it a little bit more broad. Now, the most notable change, if you could scroll down a little bit, is I think a much necessary clarification on 708.4.6, which says that, yeah, campaigning can't interfere with academic programs, classes, and labs. That's totally understandable. I don't want anybody getting up in class or asking the teacher, hey, will you endorse me for SGA president or vice president or something. That's not something I want to allow. However, it has been brought to my attention over the years. There's been concerns, well, what if I'm just wearing a candidate's shirt in class? Technically, as it stands right now under the definitions, that could be considered a form of campaigning. But if you're just wearing a shirt in the computer lab, you're not bothering anybody else. You're just wearing that shirt. So this is clarifying that wearing a campaign paraphernalia, including but not limited to t-shirts and name tags in laboratories and classrooms, shall not constitute a violation of this section. So you don't have to put on a sweater and be hot in class just to make sure you're compliant with election law. You can just wear your shirt. That's the idea behind this.
PSSE 18102905, Election Law, Chapter 709.6.
Zinner Graduate School. And this is, again, along the same theme, talking about platforms once again. Last semester, we looked at the word limit up at 500, which I'm really happy that we got that through. This is a clarification of that section. Number one, requiring that all platforms are published on the SGA elections website prior to the start of formal campaigning. So now, with these other bills, you can talk about platforms earlier. This is requiring that platforms are available throughout the formal campaigning website, period. Because in the past, I've seen sometimes they're not posted until the day of. Sometimes only the major candidate are posted, and then we rely on the plainsmen to share what's sent to them. Now, I'm very grateful for the work that the plainsman is doing in reporting on the candidates, but we all wrote a platform, I hope, to run for these seats, and that's something we put effort into. I would love for our constituents to have the time, or potential constituents to have the time to look over it and read it through, especially since it's maybe 500 words now. It takes a little bit more time. Give them that week of formal campaigning to review that. Also, it's clarifying that they just need to submit it with campaign material. It says here on paper. In the past, it hasn't always needed to be on paper. We're going digital more and more these days. I feel like let's just require it to be submitted with campaign material. If it doesn't need to be on paper, we'll save the trees, basically. Keep it easy. So those are the changes presented in this bill.
PSSE 18102906, Election Law, Chapter 17.
This is another bill. This is one of those bills that we based on one of the bills that we voted down on October 1st in that very long Senate meeting. The item, if I recall correctly, that was the most contentious was mentioning where you got your campaign funds. That was what most of the debate on this budget item was focused on. So this is basically the same bill that we had then with that removed, because there's a couple clarifications in there that I do think are necessary. So I do feel like it's necessary to bring back to the floor. Just taking out that one thing that got really heated debate, and perhaps in the future, a future term can revisit that issue. But for now, I would very much like to clarify the rest, put things in a clean way. Hopefully this can pass.
from me, like Senator Calhoun said, Halloween Senate is next week, so obviously go all out for that, and we're gonna have a good time, but we also obviously do have important legislation to discuss, so please just keep that in mind and review that throughout this week, and come in next week ready to have a good time to get some work done. And kind of going off the same conversation of election law, declarations of intent are open for your seats, my seats, everything, so I know Bree's in the back, just be sure to be passing that on to your constituents. And then Mental Wealth Week is this week, so just be sure to go check them out on the concourse. But I think that's it for me. Here's some questions.
Yes, a couple things from me. One, during reports at the beginning, we could really try to limit the side chatter, especially being at the front of the room. It can be very distracting to hear, and also just to show respect to your colleagues who's there, sharing information about what's going on in their schools and colleges. And I also want to give just props to academic affairs for meeting with their counterparts over in cabinet and just continuing to encourage y'all to reach out to your counterparts in cabinet to have those conversations and bounce ideas off them and really work together. So thanks for all the great work y'all are doing.
Okay. Are there any further announcements?
That's okay. Try again. I'll sit it here. I really would love to encourage y'all to please talk to me about the practical application of some of the things that are coming through Senate. I think sometimes we can circumvent a lot of problems if we as a Senate body and the Executive Director of Elections are talking to each other. We don't even have to be on the same page, but I would love if y'all would ask me questions about the practical application of what it means for some of these bills to come through. I'm going to give everybody my cell phone number. Please write it down. If you already have it, just write it down again in case your phone decides to back to reset or something. 251-589-1495. You can text me at any point in time. I'll try to text you back my read or read receipt, however you want to say that, they're on. So if I read it, I promise I'm either trying to get an answer or like in class, and I will respond to it after. I would love to chat with y'all about how some of this stuff would work if passed or not. Thanks.
Let's go ahead and click out for the evening so we know you stayed. And are there any further announcements? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.
I'm on student. They're just also